Hi guys, it's Michelle. I wanted to end our Friday with working with sports in space. So one of the things that you're getting out of gravity and movement, and one of the things that you're getting into understanding, like again, with my book, You Can't Get to Mars Without Me, things like that, but you have to start looking when we're in outer space, and if we want to continue in outer space, what is a functional movement? And although things like this are fun, and I want to really review what's going off in soccer skills, right? So when we're looking in general for sports, we're looking for, does the ball go into the basket, right? Again, a lot of my work is with special needs kids, and that's like an IEP goal, individual education plan. Can they get the ball into the basket? Not about how their bodies are moving to get the ball into the basket. So one of the things that I'm introducing to talk to you about is there are no rotational movements throughout the body. Now, first of all, I don't think you see it. See the bars there? So every movement like that, where you're seeing torque, that foot is getting collected by a bar. So immediately, see this, there's no rotation, and now he's going to hit something in. I'm not saying that they don't have skills and this isn't fun. Not one movement that they're doing is what is considered a functional movement to the human body. Now, what is a functional movement? First of all, functional movement goes through the minor and major organs, right? So if I'm doing something like this, it's not a functional movement. I can stick my arm out all I want, but I can't get dressed, I can't feed myself, right? Second of all, again, the fact that he's hooking his feet, when I don't move like that. I don't sit there and move and hook my body onto something or worrying about going into something in a sense where I'm falling upwards, right? So it's taking away all of my proprioceptive skills. Yes, you can blame it on the float. You can do all of that. But what I'm talking about is when the body, the human body, is not responding to stimuli, which is the soccer ball, with a functional movement, which includes rotation in opposition to gravity, right? So me feeding myself and all of those kind of things, that's a functional movement, turning a page of a book. But as you can see, everything that they're doing here, they're getting momentum, right? But even that kind of head hit, he's not getting a push-pull milestone. One of the benefits of gravity, so when I'm hitting a ball with my head, right, I'm going against gravity. Gravity is not just floor-based. And I'm going to play this again, and I have another one to show you, right? And now the ball is hitting me, and so this force is going against each other. You can kind of include Newton's law there. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. However, you're still dealing with a living organism that has to produce a rotational movement within an opposition to gravity. This doesn't happen with anybody with special needs. That's one of their definitions, becoming special needs. Yes, it could be autism, cerebral palsy. I can tell you right now, the common movement denominator is the same to an astronaut. And this is why when they come back after a year, they look like someone that has that. When they blame it on muscle atrophy, the muscles are not going to create the movements that they need to because they respond to movement. They don't create movement. I know that's a hard concept for people to say, like, oh, if I contract a muscle, I get a movement. That's not functional, right? It's the ability to have that active and passive. Yes, there's going to be contractions, but I do not sit there and go, I have to contract these muscles to turn the page of a book, right? That's done with skeletal articulation. There's so much stuff that goes into that. My oxygen level collections with that, because again, even just turning a page of a book, I'm dealing with my push-pull milestones within my skeletal articulation. And this is what you're looking at. Please stop looking at an action is where the ball goes from the body, right? That is not it. And again, something like this, and you can see even just that he visually can't cross a midline because where he is in space is so difficult for them. It might be fun, but even again, just the momentum of the ball and what that's doing to the body, that's what breaks down the human body. How do we solve this? By taking these principles I'm trying to teach you and now incorporating them to outer space. Right? I incorporate them into my practice, but this is, again, this is just pure physics on living organisms. The mass of a living organism is different than the mass response of a cup, or something that's a solid or something to that effect. So just to go into one more screen.
I'm here with my crew members.
So they're going to play tennis. So again, you're going to see again the float. Look at that. First of all, the size different. You can see really again, visual midline really goes away in outer space. You'll see again where they have to look up and they come back, but see there's no fall. So again, I can start changing my visual dynamics, which isn't necessarily a good thing because again, how did we come to vision cognitively and movement-based systematically into our system, and where is it changing here? So again, you can see where it's very difficult for this astronaut to be looking peripherally. And again, they're playing, and that's great. But to save their bodies and to do what they need to do, they have to start using these other principles. There's no way you're going to get to Mars without me for that reason. That's what needs to be included with the documentation and the changes. I get it that I have a different visual horizon in outer space. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no developmental milestones in outer space. You can't stand, you can't sit, you can't crawl, you can't do anything. You can if you're secured, but you can't do this in organization and opposition to gravity. And to do that, you have to have those rotational movements. And it's really evident with these kind of things, but I want you again to start getting away from the ball, going where it needs to go, versus how someone is organizing their movement to do such a thing. And as you can see that the apparatuses and everything that they're using, right, it changes the dynamics on how they use their bodies. So imagine what would normally take a slam on a ball to get somewhere, and now you literally can just go, right? I can take my hair and put it against the ball and get it to propel against me. So to come back and to deal with gravity and to deal with the issues of gravity, just like some people have to deal with every day, gravity is an issue in a sense. And just be weighted down and have the quote muscle atrophy and the lack of balance, the counterbalances. These dynamics, I believe, can be used in space to tease the brain how we figure out how we're going to start going to the next dimension, which is colonizing outside. Colonizing outside is depending on the core rotation within the planet or the orbit that we're working on. There's no internal rotation on the moon. That is going to cause a big problem on the human body versus Mars. Mars is much more smaller and rotates at a much different level than we organize at. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.